Polish now Russian airspace.
At 6:30 in the morning, the owner of this house in a Polish village near the Belarusian border was downstairs watching TV news coverage of the Russian drone incursion. Soon, he was at the center of the coverage, one of the drones crashing through the roof. No casualties here, or indeed anywhere in Poland, but a new level of threat.
I heard a plane flying over and suddenly it seemed to descend faster and the roar grew louder. Something boomed, the light fell from the ceiling in the downstairs living room. I looked out the window and there were sheets of metal flying from the roof.
This infringement of Polish, of NATO airspace lasted through the night, involving 19 Russian drones, Poland says, flying directly across the border from Belarus. Russia said none of them was intended for a target inside Poland. One theory that they were looking for a backdoor into western Ukraine.
A major shakeup in the war in Ukraine. Poland has invoked Article 4 of the NATO treaty. This comes after Russian drones violated their airspace overnight. That incident occurred during a large-scale attack on targets across Ukraine, and the move now means Poland can call on other NATO countries, including the U.S., for consultations when they believe their security is threatened, and world leaders are responding. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio is in Washington.
Poland is on high alert after they say Russian drones entered the Polish airspace during a wave of attacks in neighboring Ukraine. Poland's prime minister says Polish and NATO air defenses were scrambled to shoot down the drones. The Polish actions mark what's believed to be the first direct military engagement between a NATO member and Russia since the Ukraine conflict began in 2022. The Polish government calling the incident an act of aggression that posed a real threat to the safety of our citizens, adding that its forces remain fully prepared for immediate response. Authorities even temporarily closing the airspace over parts of Poland overnight. It comes as Russia has ramped up its attacks on Ukraine. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky saying that Russia continues to kill and there's not enough support from global allies. Now he's urging allies to step up air defense supplies to the country. Over the weekend, Russia staged its largest aerial attack on Ukraine since the war began. During a meeting in London Tuesday, the Secretary General of NATO met with the British Prime Minister to discuss next steps for Ukraine's security and to try and get the U.S. more involved.
Together with President Emmanuel Macron of France, you took the leadership on the coalition to win. And last week, the Europeans were able, together with help from NATO and others, to nail down what these security guarantees would look like. Of course, now we have to get the U.S. involved.
Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
Before that overnight attack, President Trump was once again pressed about brokering a peace deal in Ukraine. He says he expects to talk with Putin in the next week.